This video ranks every Brawl in Brawl Stars from worst to best. Lumi is finally here and it's about time we drop the greatest Brawl Stars meta tier list on YouTube. Now just a little disclaimer before the video starts. So just because a brawler is placed one spot above another does not always mean that they're going to be overall stronger than the previous brawler throughout the entire game. It is always going to depend on the comp, matchup, game mode, and map. Instead of raging in the comments about the specific placements, I would focus more on the placements of which tier the brawlers are in for the overall tier list, which is ultimately more important. Doug is considered the worst brawler in Brawl Stars because of his low damage, poor survivability, and reliance on team coordination for his healing abilities. He's hard to use effectively and isn't very versatile. While he can be useful in coordinated 3v3 matches, he generally underperforms compared to other brawlers. Bonnie is also one of the worst brawlers because she's inconsistent, her cannon form has long range but low damage, and her melee form is high risk with limited mobility after jumping in. She struggles to secure kills, is easy to counter, and her super can leave her vulnerable. Overall, she lacks versatility and reliability in the current meta. Pam is also trash in the meta because her damage is spread out and inconsistent at range, making it hard to finish enemies. She's bulky but lacks mobility, making her an easy target. Her healing turret is useful but easy to destroy, and she doesn't perform well in fast-paced metas with high damage or assassin brawlers. Clancy is still terrible despite the recent buffs because his attack is slow and hard to hit, making it difficult to deal consistent damage. His super is also tricky to use effectively, and he lacks mobility and survivability. Overall, he struggles against faster, more aggressive brawlers and doesn't fit well in most team comps. Chuck is mainly good in Heist because his super lets him quickly teleport and deal burst damage, making him effective at rushing the safe. However, in other modes, his dashing can be risky and the damage isn't consistent against players, so he struggles with control and survivability. Grom is extremely overrated these days because his attack is slow, hard to aim, and easy to dodge. He relies heavily on prediction, struggles in close range fights, and has low health. If enemies get close, he's usually outmatched, making him unreliable in many modes. Lily is still awful since her huge nerfs a long time ago because her attack range is so short, making it hard to reach enemies safely. Her super requires precise timing and can be risky to use. She struggles against long range and high damage brawlers, and her overall impact is low in most game modes. Jackie is unbearable to play because her short range makes it hard to reach enemies, especially in an opened up map meta. She's easily countered by long range brawlers, lacks burst damage, and her super doesn't guarantee value. Overall, she struggles to stay relevant in most modes. BB, kinda like Jackie, has a short attack range, and her super can be difficult to land effectively. She struggles against fast, long range, or high damage brawlers. Additionally, her damage output is inconsistent and she lacks mobility, making her vulnerable in many situations. Miko has always been a bad brawler because his attack is slow and difficult to land, making it hard to deal consistent damage. His super can be situational and he lacks mobility and survivability. Overall, he struggles against faster, more agile brawlers and doesn't have much impact in most game modes. Fang has been awful for a long time now, mostly because his attack range is short, making him vulnerable at a distance. His super can be difficult to use effectively, and he has low health, making him easier to defeat in close combat. Additionally, his overall damage output isn't reliable in most situations, leaving him underwhelming in many modes. Rosa is another overrated brawler that's beloved amongst lower skill players because her damage output is low, and while her shield provides some protection, it doesn't make her effective in fast-paced or ranged combat. She struggles against long-range brawlers and lacks mobility, making her less useful in many game modes. Willow is one of the worst throwers in the game because her attack is slow and hard to land, making her damage output inconsistent. Her super can be difficult to control, and she lacks mobility, leaving her vulnerable in many situations. Overall, she struggles to have significant impact in most game modes. Shelly is generally considered a bad brawler in Brawl Stars because she's a beginner-friendly one. She can struggle in higher level play because her attack range is short and her damage falls off at longer distances. As the meta evolves with faster, higher damage brawlers, Shelly can be outclassed in more competitive settings, especially against ranged or mobile brawlers. Jessie is still not the greatest brawler because her damage output is low and her attack relies on bouncing to deal significant damage, which can be difficult to control. Her turret is useful but can be easily destroyed. She lacks mobility and can struggle in high pressure situations, and this makes her less effective in fast-paced or aggressive metas. Bull is considered a bad brawler in Brawl Stars because, despite his high health, his short-range attack makes him vulnerable to long-range and mobile brawlers. His super can be powerful, but it's difficult to land consistently. He struggles in maps that don't suit close combat and can be easily outplayed by faster range brawlers. Ems is another overrated brawler these days because her damage output is inconsistent and her attack range is fairly inconsistent. While her super super can deal area damage, it's hard to land effectively and she struggles against fast or high damage brawlers. Additionally, her lack of mobility makes her vulnerable in fast-paced situations. Edgar, aka the bad random brawler, sucks and always will because his low health makes him vulnerable to high damage or range brawlers. While his super allows for mobility, it doesn't provide enough protection and his damage output is inconsistent. He can be easily countered by tanks or brawlers with crowd control, making him less effective in many situations. Colt is only popular among super skilled players because his damage output can be hard to land consistently, especially against fast or agile enemies. His attack range is long, but it's difficult to control and hit targets at certain angles. Additionally, his low health makes him vulnerable in close combat, and he can easily be outmaneuvered by more mobile brawlers. Gale has never been the same since his hypercharge was nerfed. His damage output is low, and his attack can be difficult to land at a consistent range. His super, while useful for crowd control, doesn't deal enough damage to make a significant impact in most situations. Additionally, his lack of mobility and reliance on situational abilities makes him vulnerable against faster or high damage brawlers. Spike isn't in the D tier anymore because of his high burst damage and area control with his super. His attack can hit multiple enemies at once, and his range allows him to deal damage from a safe distance. While he has low health, his ability to control space and punish enemies in close range makes him a solid pick in many situations. However, his fragileness and reliance on positioning can sometimes limit his effectiveness. Eve is not bad in the current meta because of her versatile attacks that deal area damage and her ability to spawn hatchlings with her super, which can provide continuous pressure on enemies. Her range and mobility are solid, making her effective in controlling space. However, her health is relatively low and her damage output can be inconsistent at times. Maisie is good in game modes like Brawl Ball because of her high damage output, her attack range is solid, and she can deal good burst damage. However, her low mobility and vulnerability to fast or range brawlers can make her challenging to use in certain situations. She shines in team coordination but can struggle in solo play. Ruffs is decent in this meta because of his supportive abilities, such as his super that provides damage boosts, and his attack that offers decent range and area coverage. His versatility in supporting teammates and controlling space is valuable in team-based modes. However, his low damage output and vulnerability in close combat can limit his effectiveness in more aggressive, fast-paced situations. Meg is mid because of her strong offensive capabilities while in her mech form, where she has high damage and health. Her ability to switch between mech and human forms adds flexibility, allowing her to adapt to different situations. However, her human form is weak and vulnerable, and managing the mech's health can be tricky. Shade is good in some situations because of their stealth abilities, allowing them to surprise enemies and avoid damage. Their attacks can deal solid area damage, and their super provides opportunities for flanking or escaping danger. However, their low health and reliance on stealth can make them risky to play, especially if they're caught out of position. Primo can be decent in a draft setting due to his high health and strong melee damage, which makes him effective in close combat. His super allows him to jump across the map and deal significant damage to enemies, giving him good mobility and crowd control. However, his short range and reliance on getting close to enemies makes him vulnerable to long-range brawlers. Buzz can be pretty annoying because of his strong control abilities and ability to stun enemies with his super, which allows him to initiate fights or escape danger. His high mobility and consistent damage at close range makes him effective in tight situations. However, his low range and reliance on getting close to enemies can make him vulnerable to long-range brawlers or when outnumbered. Skilled Dyna players can be nasty because of his area damage and explosive attacks, which can do significant damage at a distance. His super allows him to control space and disrupt enemy movements. However, his low health and reliance on landing accurate shots can make him vulnerable, especially against fast or tanky brawlers. Charlie is a little bit better now due to her balanced stats, including solid damage output and reliable mobility. Her abilities provide a mix of offense and defense, allowing her to adapt to various situations. However, her lack of standout traits compared to other brawlers can make her less impactful in high-level play. Sam was broken but fell off immediately because of the nerf to his hypercharge. His super allows him to dash into enemies and deal substantial damage, which makes him effective in fast-paced aggressive play. However, his reliance on positioning makes him vulnerable to being outplayed by long-range or tankier brawlers. Crow is not bad because of his high mobility and poisonous attack, which slowly chips away at enemies' health over time. His super allows him to jump away from danger, making him hard to catch. However, his damage output is relatively low compared to other brawlers, and he can struggle against tanks or high damage brawlers. Tara is good on bushy maps because of her area control with her attack and stunning super, which can be helpful to disable enemies and set up team kills. Her range and consistent damage makes her effective at harassing opponents from a distance. However, her low health and reliance on landing a successful super can leave her vulnerable. Sprout is an okay thrower due to his area denial capabilities with his wall creating super and long range attack that can deal solid damage. His ability to control space and block off enemies can be very effective in certain situations. However, his low health and reliance on precise positioning makes him vulnerable to fast or high damage brawlers. Drake was still not bad due to his strong burst damage and ability to control space with his attacks. His super allows for significant area denial and disruption, which makes him useful in team fights. However, his low mobility and vulnerability in close combat can make him easy to counter, especially by faster or more agile brawlers. Nani is average because of her high damage output and long range attack that can hit enemies from a safe distance. Her super allows her to deal huge burst damage with her guiding missile, which makes her effective in dealing with high health brawlers. However, she has low health herself and is very fragile, which makes her vulnerable to faster tanky brawlers. Tick is still extremely annoying because of his area control with his explosive attacks, which makes him effective at zoning enemies and denying space. His long range allows him to deal consistent damage from a safe distance. However, his low health and lack of mobility makes him vulnerable to faster high damage brawlers. Brock's huge projectile radius is so annoying, helping his status in the meta. His high damage output and long range attacks allows him to deal significant damage from a distance. His super, which rains rockets, can be used to control areas and deal splash damage. However, his low health and lack of mobility makes him vulnerable in close combat or when caught by faster brawlers. Lola can be good due to her high damage output and ability to create a decoy with her super, which distracts enemies and provides strategic advantages. Her versatility allows her to adapt to various situations with both close and long range damage capabilities. However, her low health and reliance on her decoy for defense can make her vulnerable in high pressure situations. Penny's in the B tier because of her consistent damage with her long range attack and the ability to place a turret that deals area damage over time. Her super provides a solid zone control and can disrupt enemies in key areas. However, her low mobility and vulnerability in close range combat can make her easy to counter. Mortis fell off slightly in the current meta. His high mobility and ability to quickly dash around the battlefield makes him excellent at evading attacks and flanking enemies. His super allows him to dash even further, enabling quick escapes or aggressive attacks. However, his low damage output and fragileness makes him vulnerable in direct combat, especially against brawlers with higher health or ranged attacks. Larry and Laurie are still so annoying to face because of their unique dual attacks that provide both close range and area control. Their super can create additional pressure on enemies by having them attack from different angles, which makes them versatile in many situations. However, their vulnerability in close combat and low health can make them easy to counter by faster or higher damage brawlers. Surge is still going to be not bad due to his unique ability to upgrade during the match, increasing his damage and mobility as he progresses. His super allows him to jump over obstacles, giving him more mobility and the ability to escape or engage quickly. However, his low health and reliance on upgrading to reach full potential makes him vulnerable, especially in the early stages of the game. Barley is decent in the meta due to his area damage and ability to control space with his splash attacks. His super can block off paths and deal continuous damage over time, which makes him effective for zoning and disrupting enemy movements. However, his low health and lack of mobility makes him vulnerable in close combat, and his attacks require precise positioning. Even though Frank fell off, he is still going to be not bad due to his high health and strong damage output with his attacks and super, which stuns enemies in a wide area. His tankiness allows him to withstand a lot of damage and stay in fights longer, while his stun can disrupt enemies and control the battlefield. However, his low mobility and slow attack speed makes him vulnerable to fast or ranged brawlers. Griff has been rising recently because of his strong attack range and consistent damage output, and this allows him to harass enemies from a safe distance. His super, which creates a powerful cash drop that deals area damage, can help control space and pressure enemies. However, his low health and reliance on positioning makes him vulnerable to aggressive or fast brawlers. Amber has her continuous fire attack, which can deal high damage over time if she can keep enemies within her flame range. Her super allows her to drop fire fuel that creates zones of damage, providing strong area control. However, her low health and vulnerability in close range combat makes her fragile, and she can struggle against fast or tanky brawlers. Leon is a decent assassin because of his high damage output and stealth ability with his super, which makes him invisible and allows him to surprise the enemies. His speed and mobility enables him to quickly engage or disengage from fights. However, his low health and reliance on positioning makes him vulnerable to faster tanky brawlers. Even though Daryl fell off slightly, he is still decent due to his high damage output with his shotgun style attack and his ability to roll using his super, which allows him to move quickly and deal damage to enemies in his path. However, his reliance on getting close to enemies and vulnerability to range brawlers can be a disadvantage. Sandy is still not bad due to his area control with his super, which creates a sleep-inducing sandstorm that can disable enemies in a large area. His high damage output with his attack allows him to be effective in both long range and close range combat. However, his low health and reliance on his super to disrupt enemies can make him vulnerable if caught out of position. Byron can be a versatile pick due to his supportive role with his ability to heal teammates and damage enemies with his attacks. His super provides additional healing or harm, making him versatile in both offensive and defensive scenarios. His long range allows him to contribute from a safe distance as well. However, his low health and reliance on positioning makes him vulnerable in close combat. Colette is a good anti-tank brawler due to her ability to deal damage based on enemy health, allowing her to effectively target high health brawlers and objectives. Her super lets her deal significant burst damage, and this makes her useful in certain situations like damaging tanks or in heist. However, her low health and vulnerability in close range combat can make her fragile in battle. Bo is a bit better these days due to his hypercharge, his strong area control with his mines, which can trap and damage enemies, and this makes him effective at defending objectives and creating map control. His super provides a long range stun, disrupting enemies and supporting his team in crucial moments. However, his low mobility and vulnerability in close combat makes him less effective against faster or more mobile brawlers. Finks is better now due to his unique time manipulation abilities. He fires 3 projectiles, with the center one dealing more damage, making him effective in both single target and spread damage situations. Additionally, his gadgets and star powers enhance his versatility. However, his gadgets and star powers enhances his versatility with options for mobility and crowd control. Getting buffed definitely helped him the most though. Nita is still a good anti-tank brawler due to her strong damage output and supportive capabilities. Her attack deals consistent damage in a small area, making her effective in close range combat. Her super, which summons a bear to attack enemies, provides additional pressure and can be used to tank damage for Nita or her teammates. Kit, the 0-11 King, is still good in this meta due to his versatile abilities and supportive role. His attack delivers rapid, short-range damage, making him effective in close combat. His super allows him to jump to a target area, dealing damage and potentially transforming into a more powerful form if he lands on an ally, offering healing and additional support. Rico is still a good option on maps with lots of walls due to his bouncing attack, which allows him to hit multiple enemies at once or attack around obstacles. Rico's super fires several shots that bounces off of walls, making it effective for area denial and disrupting enemy positioning. However, his low health can leave him vulnerable, especially when he's caught off guard or out of position. Hank has fallen off since his nerfs to his hypercharge. However, he's still not bad due to his long range attack and high damage output. When Hank blows his bubble, he can cover a lot of area, and this allows him to deal damage from a distance while staying safe behind cover. However, his reliance on positioning makes him vulnerable if caught out of place or against faster, more aggressive brawlers. 8-bit is pretty good due to his high damage output and supportive super. His attack deals significant damage at medium range, making him effective at holding areas and dealing consistent damage over time. However, his slow movement speed can make him vulnerable to faster brawlers, and he requires good positioning to maximize his effectiveness. Otis is a good versatile brawler due to his crowd control abilities and strong support role. His attack fires a burst of ink that deals moderate damage and can slow down enemies, and this makes him useful for disrupting opponents. His super prevents enemies from using their abilities in a specific area, which can be crucial for shutting down key enemy brawlers. Cordelius is still meta due to his high mobility, burst damage, and crowd control abilities. His super sends him and an enemy to the Shadow Realm, providing increased speed and reload time, which also allows him to escape or disrupt the enemy. While he has a high skill ceiling, Cordelius can be very effective in skilled hands, especially in modes like Knockout or Wipeout. Kenji is a decent brawler in Brawl Stars due to his consistent damage output, solid mobility from his super, and versatile gadgets and star powers that enhances his survivability and control. He performs especially well in 1v1 modes like duos, where his balance kit allows him to outplay opponents. Mandy is a good brawler because of her long-range precision attacks and high burst damage, especially when standing still to activate her focus shot. Her super can deal massive amounts of damage across the map, making her a strong threat in open areas. Mandy excels at controlling space, punishing overextensions, and supporting from a distance. Buster is still solid because of his high close range damage, strong area control, and defensive capabilities. His super creates a shield that blocks incoming projectiles, making him great for pushing objectives and protecting teammates. Buster shines in modes like Brawl Ball, where his tankiness and crowd control can turn the tides of the battle. Belle is great in the meta thanks to her long range attacks, damage chaining mechanics, and strong utility. Her main attack can hit multiple enemies by bouncing, making her great for controlling grouped up opponents. Her super marks the target to take extra damage from all sources, and this allows it to make it easier to burst down key threats. Ash is still a good tank because of his high durability, strong melee damage, and unique rage mechanic that boosts his speed and damage as he takes or deals damage. His super summons rat porters that pressure enemies and helps control the map. Ash thrives in close range combat and excels in modes like gem grab and brawl ball. Gus is solid because of his supportive capabilities, consistent chip damage, and healing utility. His main attack charges up a healing ghost that can restore health to himself or teammates, while his super provides a strong shield for protection. Gus excels in team modes like gem grab and brawl ball. RT fell off slightly, but he's still good because of his unique ability to split into two parts with his super, and this allows him to control multiple areas and surprise the opponents. His main attack marks enemies that take extra damage, making him great for weakening and finishing off targets. RT's versatility, area control, and pressure makes him effective in various modes. Juju also fell off slightly, but is still super annoying because of her strong control abilities, slippery movement, and utility focus kit. Her main attack slows enemies, making it easier to land follow-up shots or help teammates secure kills. Her super adds mobility and disruption, letting her reposition quickly or escape danger. Barry is still one of the best support brawlers because of his area control capabilities. His main attack can heal himself and nearby teammates, making him a great support brawler, while his gadgets enhances his ability to control the battlefield. Squeak is still great due to his ability to deal consistent area damage and control space with his sticky bombs. His main attack can hit multiple enemies and his super creates a large explosion, dealing significant damage over a wide area. Squeak excels in controlling choke points and forcing enemies into unfavorable positions, and this makes him effective in a lot of game modes. Piper's been great for a long time because of her long range, high damage attacks that can deal massive burst damage when hitting enemies at a distance. Piper excels in open maps where her range and ability to quickly eliminate squishy brawlers shine, and this makes her especially effective in modes like Bound and Heist where precision and positioning are key. Pearl is really solid because of her high damage output, versatility, and crowd control. Her main attack deals significant damage in a wide area, while her super can create a powerful shockwave, stunning enemies and dealing area damage. Pearl excels in both offensive and defensive roles, with the ability to clear enemies in tight spaces or disrupt opponents in open areas. Mo after the buff is back near the top because of his super and strong defensive capabilities. His main attack deals consistent damage, and this allows him to stay in fights longer. His super can help him go underground and disable enemies' abilities or suppress their attacks, and this makes him effective at controlling the battlefield. Lou is still strong because of his crowd control abilities and ability to disrupt enemies. His main attack deals damage and slows opponents, making it easier to control space and set up kills. His super creates a freezing zone, stunning and slowing enemies in a large area, which can turn the tides of battles. Melody is a really good brawler because of her strong healing abilities and support focus kit. Her main attack deals moderate damage, and this makes her a great team player. Her super creates all those orbiting nodes, and this provides sustained support for teammates in key moments. Mr. P is more annoying than ever in this meta because of his ability to apply constant pressure and control the map. His main attack can bounce over obstacles, making it easier to hit enemies hiding behind cover. His super spawns Porter Boss that harasses and distracts opponents, forcing them to deal with multiple threats. Gene is rising slightly because of his versatile support and control abilities. His main attack can poke enemies at long range or deal solid damage up close, and it can split to hit multiple targets. He excels in modes like Gem Grab and Bounty, where control, pick potential, and team support are crucial. Gray is the best he's ever been because of his exceptional utility, mobility, and control. His long range attack allows safe chip damage, while his super creates teleporters that enable game-changing plays. Gray shines in almost every mode, especially Gem Grab and Knockout, where positioning and smart movement can secure consistent wins. Stu is still super strong because of his high mobility, fast-paced playstyle, and consistent pressure. He charges his super with just one hit, allowing him to dash repeatedly, dodge attacks, and quickly reposition. This makes him hard to hit and great at chasing down or escaping enemies. Janet is cracking the top 10 because of her versatility, mobility, and strong map control. Her main attack increases in range the longer it's aimed, and this makes her effective at both close and long range. Her super lets her fly over obstacles while dealing damage from above, and this gives her excellent survivability and the ability to scout or escape. Angelo is one of the best sharpshooters because of his high mobility, strong poke damage, and ability to control the battlefield from a distance. His charge shots deal significant damage over time, and it can move while attacking, making him hard to hit. His super gives him the power to fly over terrain and stay out of danger while applying pressure. Max is one of the best support brawlers in the game because of her high speed, rapid firepower, and strong team support. She can move quickly and dodge attacks with ease, while her fast firing shots deal consistent damage. Her super boosts the movement speed of herself and nearby allies, enabling aggressive plays, quick escapes, or objective control. Meeple is remaining near the top because of his unique control focus kit, strong utility, and ability to disrupt enemy positioning. His main attack marks enemies, making them easier to track and pressure, while his super creates a zone that limits movement and forces enemies into disadvantageous spots. Ollie, despite the nerfs, is still near the top because of his high mobility, strong area control, and ability to quickly adapt to different situations. His main attack deals consistent damage over time, while his super gives him the ability to leap across the map, providing escape potential or aggressive positioning. Carl is cracking the top 5 because of his consistent damage, high survivability, and strong mobility. His main attack lets him throw his pickaxe, which can bounce off of walls hitting multiple targets, while his super can deal damage over a wide area and pierce through the enemies. This makes him effective in both offensive and defensive roles. Chester is one of the best brawlers in Brawl Stars because of his versatility and unpredictable playstyle. His main attack has varying effects depending on the mode he's in, allowing him to adapt in different situations. His super can inflict a variety of status effects on enemies, such as slowing or disorienting them, giving him an edge in crowd control. B is making the top 3 of this list due to her high burst damage, long range attacks, and ability to control space. Her main attack charges up to deal massive damage, especially when hitting enemies at a distance. Her super creates a slowing effect, allowing her to disable enemies and set up kills. Poco is coming in at number 2 because of his strong healing capabilities, consistent damage output, and team support role. With the capo, his main attack can heal allies while dealing damage, making him an excellent support brawler. His super provides a powerful area healing effect, restoring health to teammates to helping them stay alive longer. And finally, Lumi is the best brawler in Brawl Stars because of her unique abilities, high damage potential, and excellent control. Her main attack is a wide range and can hit multiple enemies, making her great for area denial and applying consistent pressure. Her super can inflict heavy damage over time, while her gadgets and star powers enhance her survivability and map control. Well, there you guys go, a tier list of the entire meta, all 90 brawlers for the month of April. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the tier list. I'm ready to debate all the peak gold mains in the comments down below, so bring it on.